Good morning, fashion dolls. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It is Motivation Monday, November 16th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our special guest this evening was born in Massachusetts, where he began acting at the age of 6 years old. He received a BA in Theater Studies from Yale University. Also, he appeared in shows like The Hogan Family, also Malcolm in the Middle, and now the Showman Showcase, also the DL Chronicles. I'm super duper excited, without further ado, and pleasure to introduce my special guest, Tommy Hobson. He is here with us, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get this show started. Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing It's such a pleasure to meet you, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Hobson. Now, we've known you for a number of roles. Let's just go down the list here. Like, oh my God, where do we start? The Fresh Beat Band
Oh
is
yeah.
where that's what catapulted you and made you get out here. You've got it's so many. NCIS, Criminal Minds, Dynasty. You've also done the DL Chronicles, the Showman Showcase. So where do we begin?
Yeah. I don't know. Where do you want to start?
Oh my goodness. So you started acting at the age of 6 years old, and you
Yes.
also attended theater studies from Yale University. So what was that experience like for you?
It was great. I grew up. I know for some reason online it says that I was born somewhere else, but I was born in LA, and raised in LA, and I went to my parents when I was about six, and I was like, I think I want to be on TV. One of my aunts was an actress at the time, and my parents were kind of like, okay, well, let's let him try it. And there were no real expectations. It was just something fun, and it became my life. So, but I did go to college with the intention of being a doctor. So that somewhere along the way, we made another left turn and went back to acting. But it's always been my love.
Okay, okay. So which methods of acting are you most adept to? Because the character that I seen you in on the DL Chronicles, that character wasn't wrapped too tight. My God. He said Damian T. Raven is over here saying push the button, well push the damn button. And you had a bomb in the car, but thank the Lord for Ty Vincent. He came busting in through the door with his
Just in
gun. He was a
time.
police officer. Yes. So what was it like channeling that type of character?
I was actually really excited about that. At that point, I had just finished doing the Fresh Beat Band, which was a really wonderful experience, but it was 6 years of wholesome goodness, and I was really looking for something more challenging, something where I could show people the full range of what I can do. And I'm really good friends with Quincy and DeAndre, who are the creators and directors and writers of the DL Chronicles. And DeAndre sort of, slid me the script and was like, maybe you read it, see if you like it. And I read it that night and called him the next morning and I said yes. I don't even know if you're asking me to do it, but if you are, the answer is yes. And we just had a fun time. Damien is just such a generous actor, such a wonderful human
Yes.
being. And so it was just 5 days of us sitting across from each other, just doing these like 10-page scenes, and I loved it.
Was it difficult for you to tap into this type of character? Because you really had to go there. Like you had a bomb in the suitcase. You said it wasn't there, it was in the suitcase. Was it
Yeah.
difficult for you to tap into your crazy just a little bit?
No. And I'm a pretty even-keeled person, but I tell people all the time, one of the things I love about acting is I love living in other people's skin, other people's experiences.
Yes.
And while I don't have anything that directly relates to what Nicordelai was going through, we all have been disappointed by something, felt betrayed by someone. So
Yes.
for me, I always just sort of try to find the connective areas in my own experiences and then try to come from there. So no, I've never wanted to blow anybody up. But I've had my heart broken, and I've been disappointed by friends and loved ones. So, and that's what I kept saying. To me, he was just he was a really hurt human being, and so I tried not to judge him and just come at it from that.
And you kind of felt for him because this particular character was not only hurt, but he was like in a polyamorous relationship with two other individuals.
Hmm.
So, have you ever encountered or experienced anything like that? Was
I
that the
have,
most challenging for you?
yeah, I have not personally. I have been, I've been in a relationship for almost 15 years now, and it's just been the two of us. So that was definitely, I was trying to even imagine, like, I have a lot of friends that are in polyamorous relationships, and I love hearing about them. I personally can really only handle one person, you know, but yeah, so no, I thought that was really interesting part of the story as well. It was also my very first time doing any sort of intimacy on film. So that was also really fun. Oh, thanks, Steve. Hi, Steven. Sorry.
Yes, the cast, everybody is still talking about the show, The DL Chronicles. Like right now, it's still on As Seen TV, so make sure you guys go and check it out there. And I would love to see this show be picked up by national syndicated networks because it's so great. It discusses what goes on in the black LGBTQ community, where there is still a lot of black men that feel as though I gotta hide this. I don't
Mm,
want the world to know, and what will people think about me? The stigma around especially black actors. When I did my interview with Damien, I asked him that question too. Do you feel as though there's a stigma around black actors to portray certain roles? They just got to be typically heterosexual versus stepping outside of their comfort zone. And I remember I seen an interview with, who was it, Luke James.
hmm.
He's on a show with Lena Waithe on Showtime. And he spoke out in an interview and he said, we wish black actors, black hetero actors need to step outside of the norm, out of this box, saying you need to portray this particular character. What would you tell these type of critics?
Um, I come at it from a different angle than Damien, and I don't know Luke, but I'm also assuming that he's straight. I'm gay, so for me, it's been a sort of different experience of I had to overcome some of my own fears in order to start stepping into roles where the characters were gay. Because I was carrying around this idea that, like, if I played gay characters, the industry would only think of me as an actor who plays gay characters, not an actor who plays any human having any human experience.
Right.
So for me, like doing the DL Chronicles, and I've done about three or four other projects since then where the characters have been gay, and it's been very liberating for me. I also think that uh, queerness is not a monolith, as they say. It's not. There's not one way to be queer, and I think that for me, what I've found purpose in is when I do play gay, is representing the people who had the experience I had. Where like growing up, I didn't see myself represented in media, and so I didn't know that I could exist in the way that I exist. And so it's always exciting for me to be able to step into any role, but specifically gay roles, and be like, "Hi, I hope that there's, you know, a little brown boy somewhere who is
Right.
lost and searching and can look to me and go, okay, you know, there's a bit of a North Star, and I can follow that and know that I'll be okay."
Exactly. And more importantly, this encourages your fans to come out and live their truth authentically and be themselves. And it's so many people that are struggling to just come out of the closet. It's
Hmm.
very difficult, especially with this pandemic going on. They don't have no place to go. They're having to stay with their families because they have to keep it, they feel like they have to keep this secret. But my advice to them, more importantly, is just come out and be yourself authentically. And if actors can portray these characters on television to tell someone's story, that's powerful. So has anyone ever walked up to you, saying this character, this particular character, I've went through a similar situation?
Yeah, I've actually had a couple of experiences like that. I will say with the DL Chronicles specifically, it's funny because back before COVID, when we would go out to bars and things, I would often have people
Mm-hmm.
walk up to me and be like, "Hi, did you go to school here? Did you like, how do I know you? And then come back 10 minutes later and go, oh, you're that crazy mofo from the DL
Mm-hmm.
Chronicles. And I'd be like, ah, yes. Um, but I will say, with Nickelodeon specifically, I'm starting because the fan base of the show that I did is now moving into adulthood, and I'm starting to be contacted by kids who grew up watching me, who have come back and found me now, who are like, I loved you on your show, and it's been really sort of wonderful for me now as a 18 to 20 something to come back and check in on you and see that like you've gone through the things I'm going through. Like I've had a couple of them now where I'm like, listen, if you ever need me, I know we don't know each other. If you ever need someone to just talk to, just shoot
Yes.
me an email, shoot me a DM. I have been where you are. I can promise you that you will be okay. But I also understand that in the space you're in right now, that seems impossible. If I could tell my 18-year-old self that 20 years later, I would be as comfortable in my skin as I am now, and have the life that I have now, I don't think 18-year-old me would have believed it. So if I can be, you know, an example for people, and it's been an evolution for me, because when I was younger and I started to, come into my own, I still kind of felt like, well, this is my business. It's not anyone else's business, and it's been just over
Right.
time a gradual sort of realization that that's not a healthy way um, to exist. It's just not fair to have to hide parts of myself.
Yes, and I just want to encourage young people out here, go to school, get a decent education, and you don't have to hide anything from anyone. Just be yourself true and authentically and unapologetically. And that's what I do here on my platform. I inspire people to live their truth and walk in their truth. Because if you're sitting there miserable, hiding it, it's going to eat away at you. It's like a mouse eating a piece of cheese. It's going
Mm.
to eat away at you and nibble away at you. It's like acid in a way. So live yourself and be authentic, and more importantly, originality is key. So that's my advice I would give to people. But we're going to kind of shift gears here, because not only that, but you did a musical, The City Kid, which received 6 NAACP Image Awards. What was that like?
Oh man, City Kid. That was really fun. That actually, I booked that musical right before I booked the Fresh Beat Band. So it was this really sort of wonderful little swing where I went from one job into a TV show, which is,
Hmm.
which is an amen, thank you sort of blessing. It was fun. I think City Kid was where I learned. I grew up doing musical theater. I think City Kid was what really solidified in my spirit that no matter where my career takes me, that I will always come back to theater, and reset there. And since then, I've managed to do at least one musical a year since City Kid happened, and that was 10 years ago. So, every year I'll try to film, and then if there's a lull in filming, I'm like, great, let's find me a musical. I did a musical January and February this year. We closed like right before the pandemic hit. I did two
Yes.
last year, so I just love it. I love being able to use all of my skills at one time. With film, it's often like I'm acting or I'm singing, and with theater, I'm acting, I'm singing, I'm dancing. It's all of it at once.
And speaking of musicals, not only that, but you also were in High School Musical 2 as
See,
the
no,
captain
I have
of
to
the
tell
Red
you, I was
Hawks.
not. I have to get someone to correct that because I think I look like the guy, and so someone started this rumor that I was in High School Musical too, which I would have loved. But it's now like on websites and like it's something that people believe, and I'm like, oh crap, I don't know how to tell the internet that I wish I'd been in the High School Musical. My little brother would have thought I was the coolest thing ever. But yeah, no, I was not. I was not in that one.
Oh my God, that is so embarrassing. Oh Jesus.
No,
So,
don't worry about it because it's on multiple sites, and I think that someone. Funny story for you, quick story. A couple years ago, someone updated my Wikipedia page. I don't know who it was, and they added a whole bunch of fun stuff, including the fact that I had once been arrested for murder. And I mean, it was nuts. And Nickelodeon had all of that taken down because obviously it was not true. But there's still some residual things up there that people add every now and again, and then I'll check it, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that I need to get that taken care of because no, I was not on High School Musical.
Oh my God. So, which one is more challenging for you? Just doing regular TV series like the DL Chronicles, for example, or doing a musical? Because I know doing a musical, when they say, okay, and we're on, we're rolling. So, what's the experience like for you when you're in the process of doing a musical?
First of all, I will say musicals are far and away harder than because with TV and film, which also they're not easy to do, but the difference between TV and film and theater is that in TV and film you have multiple chances to get it right. With theater, you only have that one shot. And what I love about theater is the adrenaline rush of if things go wrong, I have to fix them and I have to maintain the integrity of the story, and we can't acknowledge that something has gone wrong. You know, oh, what's up, buddy? Yeah, no. So that's why I love theater. It's also the stress of theater. I've done so many musicals where something goes horribly wrong, and all the actors know, but the audience can't know. I also the last musical I did, I got sick
Oh
our
no.
second show, and I didn't know that I was sick until I was on stage. And I was singing my opening song, and I was like, oh, I can feel that some of these notes aren't going to happen. And then in like real time, I had to start rearranging the song so that because basically like a rock and roll opera, so I couldn't stop singing. The whole thing is sung, and I walked off stage and I like took a deep breath and my hands were shaking, but I finished the whole show. And I was like, I love theater for that reason. I love that like, we had to find a way through.
And you want to know what type of resilience, that type of person that you remind me of when it comes to resilience, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
To be able to film the Black Panther and do all of these things and us have no idea that he was this sick or anything, I commend you for that 100%, because see, that's the power of being an actor, is to have to go through in the midst of anything that could go wrong. You have to perfect it and make this craft look perfect. Like Tommy just corrected me on in the beginning of the interview. I didn't know. He said he just confirmed it here, ladies and gentlemen, that it was not him in High School Musical 2. So,
Did
even
someone ask
journalists
about
make mistakes.
that?
Yes. Even journalists, we make mistakes at the end of the day, but it's up to us to go back and correct it and make it look perfect. And that's what actors, I give y'all so much props and so much credit for this, because we, the fans and the viewers, would never know what goes on behind the scenes when those cameras start rolling.
No.
Because when this director says go, it's time to go. And if it's a mess up, you gotta keep going. So for a musical, I agree with you on that 100%, because it is definitely difficult than, just shooting a regular film or TV series.
Oh yeah, you don't get a do-over in theater. You just whatever happens, you have to keep going. I did a show once and an actor missed a cue,
Uh-oh.
and it's like, okay. And when you're in those moments, it feels like eternity, but it's probably only 30 seconds that, we were standing there just inventing lines to say to try to keep the scene going until the actor showed up. I did a production of West Side Story years ago, and I was Tony. And at the end of the show, I'm supposed to get shot and die, and the gun didn't go off. And the actor was behind me, so I didn't even know if the actor was there. And I had to act out a whole like monologue that I made up while I was trying to figure out how I was going to die. And then I just had to die. Like it was, and I was like, I love theater. Theater's crazy.
And what makes it even more worse, Tommy, is that if it's live, if somebody, oh my God, if somebody sees it and it's out there, it's live, it's out there forever, you better try to act this thing out the best of your ability, because there are no do-overs if it's live, and this is like a musical. You got to keep going.
Gotta keep going.
Like Chicago, for example. It's so many, to name a few.
Yeah. And each of those shows, I mean, especially when you're talking about Broadway, you're doing 8 shows a week. there's no way that every single one of those shows is gonna go perfectly. So you have to know the show inside and out. You have to really just be in yourself and outside of yourself at the same time. Because I've got to know everything that's happening with me, and I've got to be feeling what's happening with you and keeping an eye on everything so that I can be prepared for anything.
Right. And speaking of live, Shaman Showcase.
Ha! Yes.
Okay. This show, this franchise reminds me so much of a modernized version of In Living Color, and I don't know if people have said that time and time again, but it is so funny. Like, I seen the skit with you and Brisha Webb, where she was portraying Mary J. Blige, and you were like one of the guys that had to. It was
Oh
one
yeah,
fan of
just feet near the
hers.
grapes.
Yes, is it difficult for you to stay in character, or do you break sometimes, or do who breaks character first?
Um, Listen, it's not going to be Brisha. Brisha, baddest of badasses. Like, there's nothing that girl cannot do. And for me, the hardest thing I had to do that day, because my buddies created the show, Diallo Rillo and Bashir Salahuddin, and when they said you're doing this sketch, they were like, "We trust you not to laugh and just let her do whatever she's gonna do to you." And I just, and of course, then Brisha took that as a challenge. But yeah, I did not break. Every time they called cut, I lost it. But yeah, that was a really fun set, and I think the reason people do compare it to A Living Color is just sadly, it's been 30 years since there was a show on
Yes.
TV that was, black actors and sketch comedy, and it's just a really fun, lovely set. Everyone on the show, we're all friends. All the celebrities that come to visit are friends, so it's just like a big party. I'm looking forward. We have season 2 coming up. I'm looking forward to doing that. Um, in this COVID world, everything's going to be a little different, but it'll still be nice to
Yes.
to be around everyone, even if we have to wear masks when we're not filming.
And that's what I love about the show is that you guys are taking this thing seriously. You guys are wearing your mask. Like when I seen the skit where her doing Mary J. Blige and you was there feeding the grapes, I in my spirit when I seen it, the little clip that you posted, I
Hmm.
said, "Oh God, I know he probably is trying not to laugh, but I did it for him." I screamed so loud because it's just like she's got married down to a T. And then when I was watching one of her interviews she did on what was it, The Real Daytime,
Hmm.
she was saying Mary J. Blige just looked at her like, okay. But I know on the inside I would have been crying. Yeah, it would have been difficult for me. I would have broke character first. I give y'all actors so much credit because it'd be so difficult. And I've seen stories where actors would be on set and they would break character, and it would be a good time. Like I know Tyler Perry, for example, when he's doing some of his shows, some of the characters that he portrays, some of the characters also on the set as well too, they break character and they laugh. So it is very difficult. So I commend you guys 100% for that.
Yeah, I said the other thing that is nice to keep in mind is that we're very aware of how much everything costs too. So like, not only do you not want to laugh because you want to look like you know what you're doing, you also don't want to laugh because that means another take. And on a show like Sherman Showcase, where we're filming so many sketches a day, you don't want to be the reason why we have to do it again.
Yeah, so good job to the producers and the directors of this show. I can't wait for season 2. So make sure you guys tune in to, is it UFC? Make sure you guys tune into UFC and go and check out the Showman Showcase. An amazing, incredible show collectively. And when I tell you it is like the modernized version of In Living Color 2020 edition, it is literally that because we don't see too many shows, that showcase wholehearted comedy with a whole entire black ensemble cast collectively. So why do you think that is?
Um, there's many reasons for that. One of the things is that the industry, for all of the progressiveness of Hollywood, Hollywood's been very slow to give. I'll just say the truth. The truth is that we live in a world where the white American experience is often presented in its in its three-dimensional space, that the
Yes.
entire experience of that is represented. And then minority groups, be they racial or sexual minority groups, we sort of become like stereotypes, or sort of one-dimensional creatures. And I think that what's exciting about TV now, especially TV, is TV is really starting to embrace the idea that, like, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, the human experience is multidimensional. And so black people are more than the criminals on your CSI. And you know, we are funny, we can do drama, we can do all of these things. And again,
Yes.
I give praise to Bashir and Diallo, who created Sherman's, for knowing that and pushing that, because they have Sherman Showcase, which you can watch on IFC or Hulu now. They've got Southside, which is on Comedy Central and HBO Max. Like, they're really out there in these streets trying to, you know, let black and brown people live their best lives on TV.
Yes, and more importantly, um, diversity, showcasing that so many people from so many different walks of life, and that's what I love also about the Showman Showcase, is that the show collectively showcases that, like you just said, that we can do so many things like comedy and drama. It doesn't necessarily have to be playing the criminal or the police officer. So many things outside of that character collectively we can do just that. So how do you feel you progressed in your acting career?
Ooh, um, I'll say I often feel like I'm not where I want to be, or in the spaces I want to be, and I started going to therapy like a year and a half ago. It's been really, and one of the things we discussed was that, like, perfectionism, that, like, in my brain I'm never satisfied where I am, and I think that's a good thing in some ways, but it doesn't allow me to enjoy or appreciate or acknowledge where I currently am and where I've come from. So that said, um, I'm very proud of the work I've done. I've got some projects that are coming up that are pushing me into the spaces I really want to occupy, and I'm really excited for those. Um, and also, I really appreciate, as I said earlier, I'm sort of getting to a space now where the kids who know me from Nickelodeon are getting older, and so it's really been nice to sort of be reminded every now and again to look behind me. That I'm so busy trying to move forward that I forget to look back and see the work that I've done, the ground that I've covered, the people that I've been able to affect, and encourage. And that's what I'm trying to do now, is just, like, exhale and go, wow, there's always going to be more. You're always going to want more. But damn, you've done some really great stuff. And you've made some really great friends, and you've had a really great time. And at the end of the day, like, I make a living as an actor, and that's all I ever wanted.
And see, there's one of your fans right there. Tommy favorite Fresh Beat Band song. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, we're gonna get into some of the audience questions.
okay.
So that was amazing for you to just explain that to us and let us know. What do you feel are some of your strong points as an actor? Like, what are some of your favorite strong points?
Um, wow. This I'm not good at this. Uh, I think that as a human, I try to live from a place of empathy. Um,
Yes.
that no matter how foreign someone else's experience is to me, I truly try to sit and inhabit it and understand it. Um, it's something that I learned. Like, I love traveling, and when I travel, one of the things I've learned is that, like, no matter where you are in the world, everyone's the same. We think that we have these divisions, and we don't. Like, we really just all want to be healthy and happy, and want our loved ones to be healthy and happy. And so,
Yes.
for me, I think that one of my strengths as an actor is that no matter what the character is, I will never judge the character, and I will always try to find the humanity in the character. That, like, you can play someone like the character I played in DL Chronicles, And people can walk away from that hating him, or they can walk away from it conflicted because he was doing something terrible. But hopefully you also, underneath all of that, were like, wow, this person has so much hurt. And I think that's a strength that I've learned is good even outside of acting. Yeah, yeah, I like that answer.
So and that's a good point to make because every character that these actors are portraying, there's a backstory. You know, they see what's going on, the obvious, but every character has a backstory. Like you never know, and for them to find out that backstory, you have to find out and do a little more research on this particular character. The person who's watching the film, the viewers out here, to
Mm,
get an insight on why the character is the way they are. So.
yeah.
All right, we're going to do a little game called This or That.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So, if you could do a collaboration with two of the actors I'm about to list, who would it be?
Okay.
Okay. The first one is Angela Bassett, and the second one would be, let's see, we got to dig up an actor. I would say Mahershala Ali.
Oh, that is not nice. Uh, they're both so great. Um, honestly, I,
Yeah.
I would like to say that I love them
Okay.
both so that no one gets mad at me. But right now, at this point in my career, I would choose Mahershala. Uh, just because I think that from an actor's standpoint, um, I could learn a lot from him. I've really enjoyed watching his evolution and the progress of his career. And we even had the same acting coach for a spell. I think
Okay.
he was gone by the time I got there, but I've heard he's a wonderful person. I've heard he's like such a hard worker, and I just love him and everything. So I would say Mahershala.
Okay. All right, the second choice. Chipotle or pizza?
Chipotle,
Okay, okay. Cereal. Frosted Flakes or Captain Crunch?
Frosted Flakes.
All right, all right, all right. Let's get a little bit more challenging. I'm trying to think. Let me dig in my bag of tricks. Jack or Henny?
Oh, Henny.
Okay. All right, y'all. All right, we're going to take some audience questions. That was the game, This or That, where we find out more about our special guests a little bit more in detail. So if you guys have any questions, you can type them in the bubble down there or you can type them in the comment section. So my next question for you is, while we're waiting on the audience to kind of gear up, would be, how would you show your cast the importance of communication? Uh-oh, we're losing Tommy. Tommy must have got a call. Okay, let me add Tommy back. He must have got a call. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get him right back.
Here I am. I apologize. Someone called
You're
me and then it
good.
kicked me off the thing. What was the question?
Yes, I was asking you, how would you show your castmates the importance of communication?
Oh, just by doing it. I think especially with comedy. Well,
Yes.
you know what? Comedy and drama require not just trust, but a lot of communication. And so I think that like even whether you're on Sherman Showcase or you're on the DL Chronicles, like one of the things I loved about the DL Chronicles was that Damien and I had such an ease and an ability to communicate with each other and really just sort of listen and feel each other out and be like, okay, he's doing this, I'll do this. Do you feel safe? Do you feel comfortable? A lot of me doing my job well comes down to communication. So yeah, I think I'm pretty good at that on a set.
Perfect. And that's what actors have to realize is that you have to be willing to communicate with all of your castmates, as well as the directors, as well as the producers. It goes hand in hand. And some of your fans, they are saying the Fresh Beat Band, and you're
Yes.
my favorite childhood actor. So that's where
Oh,
they
thank
know
you.
you from
Yeah.
mainly. So
Yeah.
it is amazing to have this sort of recognition to go on. Did you guys know that this show collectively was going to be such a hit and people are still talking about it now?
No. I remember sitting down doing the first season, and I asked our creator, I said, how long do you think we'll do this? And he said, if we're lucky, we'll do 2 seasons. And I said, okay, cool. And then we did 3 seasons, and then we did a cartoon spinoff, and then we did 308 concerts. Like it just became this gift that kept on giving, and a lot of that was because of the kids and their families, and it will remain for the rest of my life like one of the highlights of my career and my time here, because there is a way that like there's a way that kids love that just makes you feel great. Like every day for 6 years, I woke up and I was like, I'm doing something that matters. Hello from Canada.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, y'all are coming in so fast. Okay. You got a question from Duran Pierre Lewis. He said, would you make a movie with Tyler Perry?
Yeah, yeah. I won't say no to that. It would
Speaking
make my
into
grandma happy. It would make
existence.
my grandma happy. So yeah.
Yes, I'm claiming it and I'm manifesting it and I'm speaking it into existence.
Come on now.
So, oh my goodness. So, where do you see yourself next in your career in the next 5 years? When this whole thing blows over, when this pandemic is over, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years in your career?
Uh, I would love. when it comes to my 5 year plans, I'm a little greedy, but I would love to be on like a Grey's Anatomy or a How to Get Away with Murder or a Scandal type show. I just listed all Shonda Rhimes shows, so I guess I'd love to be on like a Shonda, type primetime show, and then spend my breaks, filming a movie or doing a show on Broadway for a couple months. My grandfather passed away a month and a half ago, and one of his like he loved it when I was on stage, and he was like, "You got to make sure you do Broadway one day, grandson." So, um,
Uh
the
oh.
5 year plan definitely includes uh, theater, Broadway, because you know I got to do it for my grandpa.
And he would want that. His legacy continues on, and you're continuing his legacy through you and
Yeah.
what you do, your passion. Okay, you got another question from Miss K. Glam on the go. You gonna be back in the next part of Driven?
Yes, we're filming parts 2 and 3 of that right now. So I filmed a week ago, and I'm off until after Thanksgiving, and then I go back for one more week of filming. But they're filming for I think 40 days straight, just trying to get it done, keep everyone safe. Uh, you know, Lots of COVID testing and masks. But yeah, we're all back. It was nice to see everyone.
Miss K on the Glam Go said, "Yay, yes," and it has been challenging for some actors to get out here. And that's another question I wanted to ask you too. You mentioned about COVID testing. Has it been difficult since this pandemic hit for you to go out here and be on set and do the things that you normally would do and go to premieres and so many different things like that? How
Yeah,
has it been for you?
it's been really hard. I the lead actress in this Driven movie series that I'm doing, she and I have become really good friends. And my first day on set, I was like, "Hi, I can't hug you. We're not allowed to do that. Um, can we have lunch together, or is that weird? Because like I don't want to, you know." And then like depending on how much you're filming, you're being tested minimum 3 times a week. So,
Yes.
every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, someone's way up here with a Q-tip.
Oh,
But it's all for safety, and it's all to do the thing that I love and to make a living. So I'll do it happily. But it has taken some of the some of the community aspect away because we can't, unless we're filming, we can't be in close proximity. So I miss the like the
Social
banter and the
distancing.
joking and the that familial aspect. But I'm happy to be on set.
Yes, it makes it difficult for everybody, and I've seen a lot of actors just kind of stressed out over this entire thing, just not being able to go back out here and do the things that they used to do, like go to the premieres and the film festivals, and just experience the whole entire aspect of what comes along with your work of being an actor.
Yeah.
It's been very difficult for some. So my last question for you, my last certain question, is about your character on DL Chronicles. Now
Okay.
that it's 2020, fast forward. Where, since your character got locked up on the last episode, where does your character see himself now?
You know, DeAndre and I just had this conversation. Who he wrote the episode, and I was like, listen, I think maybe, Nicordelai is maybe he's either still in jail but on like a psych hold, or because of his mental issues, he's been rehabilitated and released. And maybe it's time to check in with him and see, how he's doing. Because I think he was a good people can do bad things, and I think that he was just a person who had been pushed to the edge, and so I would love to check in with him and see where he is now. I hope he's like, if he's still in prison, I hope he's like, running a book program and got a law degree or something. If he's out of prison, I hope that he's done his community service and he's you know healing himself. whatever
Yes,
whatever
and
that
not
means for
blowing
him,
nobody
and
up or
not
the
blowing nobody
suitcase.
up with a suitcase.
My goodness. Do we have any questions for Tommy, ladies and gents? This was such a sensational interview, and I'm glad that I got to interview you. You guys have been anticipating it all week long. I know I have, and it's such a pleasure to meet you. I had
It was
such a
wonderful
good
to meet
time.
you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh,
You are
what?
so
Someone did
welcome.
ask my favorite Fresh Beat Band song. If that person is still
Yes.
here, it is "Music Keeps Me Moving." It's one of the songs from season 3, but it always made me happy when I got to sing it. So there you go.
How does it feel to know that grown-ups, their children, they've got their children up, to go to school and watch this show, or when they came home, and how does it feel to know that grown-ups know about this show?
Yeah, it's really lovely. It's really lovely. Like I said, it became a. I think because the show was created by a husband and wife for their daughters, that like that sort of seeped out of everything that happened with the show. And I think that one of the really great things is that people got to spend really good time with their families. You know, I'm a part of so many parents' first memories with their kids, first concert,
Yes.
first sing along, first celebrity that they met, first everything, and I really understand how special that is, and I really cherish it. Someone asked what my sign is. I'm a Gemini, but I'm probably like the most even keeled Gemini you're ever gonna meet. Just like I'm just either in a great mood or I'm sleepy, and that's about it.
Okay, Miss K Glam on the go says such a talented actor who the world needs to see more of.
Oh, well,
Yes, and
thank
you
you.
will see more of Tommy because Showman Showcase is on IFC, and then you've got Hulu. So
Hmm.
these are all national syndicate. Like it's everywhere. Everybody's watching it from all over the world. So you will be seeing a lot more of him. I guarantee you. And there's more to come in the horizon. I see it now.
Well, thank you.
You are so welcome. Do we have any more questions for Tommy? I remember you, Tommy.
Oh, well, hello.
Tejas.
Hi.
I told you the character I know him as is the one that wanted to blow up. Well, push the damn button. So that's the one that I
Oh,
know.
hey, Miata. Yeah, yeah. No, that's a very different character than Tejas knows me as. So,
That's the character that I know.
yeah.
Oh my God. Was it difficult for you and Damien to film that scene?
Oh man, Sesame Place. Oh my gosh. Sorry, just got in my feels. I remember those concerts very well, very well. No, Damien and I, like I said, we walked in on the first day, And he said, "How do you want to do this?" Because every day we would film 10 to like 16 pages worth of dialogue, and so you do these like 10-15 minute takes. And he said, "Do you want to break it up, or do you just want to do it?" And I was like, "I think we should just do it." So we sat there with each other every morning. We would come in, we would sit next to each other, and we would just run the scene over and over again until it was time to shoot. And I told him so much of what I was able to pull off as an actor was because I felt so safe with him. DL
He has that
Chronicles,
spirit.
he has that spirit, and it's his show. He's been with that show for 20 years. And he is the godfather, the foundational sort of actor figure of the show. And he's just so generous, and so giving that I just fell right into it. The days would fly by.
Oh, there's another question.
Oh, buddy, I don't think there will definitely not be a season 4. Unfortunately, we all grew up a little bit, and so we've we've all moved on to other things. But I tell people all the time, the four of us from that show, we're very close. That was not a manufactured relationship. They're like my extra siblings at this point, and so. We used to see each other all the time. Because of COVID, we now do like FaceTimes and stuff, just to
And
check in on
Zoom,
each other,
right?
but on Zoom. But you'll see us together in other capacities, which will be fun. But yeah, not as those characters.
Yes, like for grown-ups to be saying, "Oh my God, I've seen you on TV. You're making me go bananas." Shout. All right. Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? You can type them in the comments. You can type them in the bubble. Whatever works for you. No fresh beat ban and COVID-19. Yes, the pandemic. Let me tell you guys, it's really set a lot of things back. So with all these producers and directors that have to go through all of these measures to make sure that everybody on set is tested for COVID, and to make sure that there are distancing in place so that nobody's in the close proximity of each other. Like, it's very difficult, but they're making it work. So,
Hmm. Always find a way.
any last questions before we conclude, ladies and gentlemen? Because I can't keep Tommy. I know he's a very busy man. And like he said, he's filming, the Showman Showcase. So make sure you guys tune in and check that out. Amazing show. Uh-oh, we got a question. Let me see.
Oh, what did Mike say?
Oh, looking back, how do you remember your experience as a child actor working with so many iconic actors on a different world? Yes, with Jasmine Guy.
Yeah.
That's an incredible show. What was that
Hi,
experience like
Mike.
for you?
That was amazing, and it's really funny because I've been blessed to have a lot of memories and a lot of fun in this career, but I have such vivid memories of my time on A Different World, and I was only 10 or 11 at the
Oh,
time, but I played in the last 2 seasons, I think, I played one of Jasmine Guy's students at the elementary school she was teaching in, and yeah, I got to hang out with Lena Horne showed up one day, and Jennifer Lewis and Patti LaBelle and Diane Carroll, and just all of these like just titans and like legendary divas who would show up and just be wonderful. And really, to an impressionable young kid, they were so gracious and so kind, and just so professional that it, for me, set the template for how I wanted to be in my own career. That like if Lena Horne, the legend that she is, Patti LaBelle, if these women can
yes.
come to this set and be gracious and so giving and generous with their time and energy with me, then who am I to at any point in life, you know, be any less than that to anyone else?
And speaking of classics, not only A Different World, but you were also on Malcolm in the Middle with Frankie Muniz.
Yeah,
So
a
I don't
long
know
time
if you
ago.
remember that character. So what was that experience like with you? Because at this time he blew up. He was out there. Like, this show was so popular.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of memories of that one. The different worlds and stuff like that. like settle in more. I think just because there were more like huge moments in them.
Right.
So I hang on to those a little bit longer because I'm like, oh, I have like strong memories of this. Like, and I am lucky enough that I've been acting for 30 years now, and so I am getting to the point now where I'm like, I I'm starting to forget things. Like, I'm like, dude, did I do that? I did that. Okay. And that's also fun. I feel very lucky that, I've gotten to do this so much that I can start to be like, oh wow, yeah, I forgot about that. Well, that's a fun memory.
What a beautiful way of thinking to live your life. Miss K Glam on the go. Yes. And someone keeps asking, where's Kiki and Twist?
Uh, yeah, no, those are my co-stars from the Fresh Beat bands, and they are at home, being safe, and wearing their masks when they go outside.
Yes, please wear your mask. This thing is not going away no time soon. Hi, Chef Danny. Welcome,
Yes.
welcome.
Yeah, and that is that's what backstage pics are for. You're correct. You're correct. I didn't take enough pictures when I was younger, though. That's the problem. I miss you, by the way. Sorry, just talking to a friend.
Yes, they're coming in here. Do you guys have any more questions? You can type them in the bubble or you can type them in the comment section, whatever works for you. Thank you, Shout. See, they're talking about your character from the Fresh Beat Band. So I got a feeling I don't know what's cooking up in these comments right now, but I got a feeling that they're probably going to revive something. I feel it in my spirit because the audience is talking it up. And normally when the audience does something, next it leads to a petition. And now you see a lot of shows getting reboots. Like, okay, they brought back Fuller House, and there's so many iconic classic shows that are coming back and doing reboots. So I don't know. We never know. So
Yeah,
just
we
stay
you, you
tuned.
you never know. I just tell people, just I'm a little older now, so I won't move quite as fast as I did on the first Fresh Beat Band. Maybe I could be a mentor to the next iteration of the Fresh Beat
Shout, I speak Canadian. You know what I want to do, huh? Hi, Alex.
Band. Oh, thanks, Ken. Sorry, my friend just said he likes my hair, so I was like, thank you. This is my COVID hair.
I want to dub the Fresh Beat Band in Canada.
Oh, okay. Well, you should tell Nickelodeon about that because they're always looking to put it in new places. I did once. I was in we were in Brazil, and I was in Rio, and someone came up to me and in Brazilian Portuguese started telling me that they knew me from TV, and I was like, that's impossible. And then I found out that we were dubbed in Portuguese. And I was like, oh, okay.
Uh huh.
I guess you do know me.
So this show is worldwide. The Fresh Beat Band is worldwide, and people all over the world have been watching the show. Like even me, I was watching the show. My brother was watching the show. Hi, Miss Stevie. Hi, A. Hi, Nikia. How are you, boo? Thank you. Make sure you guys, if you have any questions for Tommy before we wrap up, get him in, because I can't keep him. I'm pretty sure we went over the time a little bit. But yes, it was such a pleasure having you here on my platform. Like, I'm so honored that I got to interview you and meet you, and you are nothing like your character from the DL Chronicles. Because I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
tell you, confession here to everybody who was here when I did my interview with Damien. My heart was beating through my chest. Like I was so nervous because I thought he was gonna be like his character on the show, like all serious and stuff. But when I met him, it was the complete
Oh yeah.
opposite. And just his energy, his presence. He is such a sweetheart, like a gentle soul, and you feel safe with him. You feel
Yep.
calm with him. Like just you don't have to worry about anything. It's gonna be okay.
Yep. Always. He's always like that. It's my favorite thing about him. I'm just like every time I see him, I'm like,
It's zen,
yep.
very zen. Okay, there's a question. When will I hang out with you, Twist, Kiki, and Marina?
um, I don't know, bud. Definitely not anytime soon, just because we all got to be socially distanced from each other. But you know, um, hopefully next year sometime I'll be able to hang out with them. I miss them.
I smell a reunion cooking up in my comments. I don't know, but I'm seeing it right now. I'm speaking it into existence because normally when actors come together, when they see one actor get an interview or they see something go on, something's going to happen. I feel it in my spirit. I feel a revival either coming on or a reunion,
All right.
virtually Zoom. Because y'all did the DL Chronicles reunion where some of the cast members wasn't there, but y'all did the reunion. Sky Black, shout outs to him. I did an interview with him as well too. He was there. You were there. Damien was there. Oh, see, let me stop. See, the audience is already talking about it. Please, a reunion. Blessed by the heavens. I can see it. I'm envisioning it right now. And normally when I manifest things, it happens. It comes true. So I
All
see
right.
it.
Well, listen, I like them, so I'd be okay with the reunion. That's a good thing.
Hi, Mel's Desserts from the UK. Welcome, welcome. Do we have any last questions for Tommy before we wrap up, whether it's on the Fresh Beat Band or any of them, because he has a very extensive resume for fans to know you from a different world, and the Fresh Beat Band and the DL Chronicles and NCIS, the list goes on and on. Like, you have a very extensive resume for your fans to walk up to you and still know who you are. It's incredible.
Okay, Darwin. You know what? That's the cartoon, and yeah, no, we don't make that anymore. But they're I think they're on Nick Jr. on demand and Nickelodeon on demand. If you want to check those out, that was a fun show.
And I'm pretty sure that they're going to be binge watching after this interview. They are going to binge watch because normally when we talk about a show that has been this iconic and pivotal, get your coins, boo.
Yeah. Well, listen, come on. I'm a little older now, but you'll still know it's me. Just don't have any facial hair on that show.
We already answered that question,
Hmm.
Tejas. Yeah, we got to be COVID friendly. Did you guys start a first? All right. So we have any more questions before we conclude? Because I want to get everybody's questions out before I wrap up. Because I don't want to cut off as someone saying, "Oh, I got a question. I got a question."
Oh, I think we're good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if that's it, I'm going to conclude this interview here with Tommy because I can't keep him long enough. You know, actors, they got a schedule. They got to keep going, honey. So I cannot keep him. But what shouts answer? I think he just answered that a few minutes ago, Tejas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to conclude. Thank you so much for this
Thank you.
incredible interview. It was such a pleasure. And I told you we was going to have a good time.
Oh yeah. It was a great time. We'll do it again sometime.
Yes, definitely let me know whenever you want to come back on, or I'll reach out to you because I know you want to talk about the Showman Showcase. So we'll
Oh
talk
yeah.
about that.
We'll come back at when we get season 2 filmed. We'll come back and talk about that.
So thank you so much, and thank all of you for tuning in for my exclusive sit-down interview with actor, writer, Tommy Hobson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you all, and y'all please be safe and wear your masks.
Bye,
Take
everybody.
care.
Bye.
Take care.